How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. The next 7 hours or so may confirm the spot Bitcoin ETF. I want to talk about that, talk about some big news that's coming out of the Bitcoin conference, some news that's happening today with earnings. There's a lot to cover. We're going to bounce back and forth between crypto and macro and stocks. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn that bell notification underneath the video. There's also a link down there to Bag Tracker AI. This is where I will be tracking my crypto portfolio and my net worth completely because this is an app that I'm creating with just a few other people, and we're going to be able to denominate your entire net worth and different investments in cryptocurrencies, the ones that you are most interested in, among a lot of other things that we're going to be able to do too. Just pre-register, put in your name, email, and tell us what you want covered, and we will do our best to include that in the app. So I'll leave a link to this underneath the video. Now, as you can see, crypto is down just slightly. Actually, on this metric, the last 24 hours, it shows Bitcoin's up slightly, 0.2%, but the overall market is down 0.51%. So Bitcoin dominance is going up slightly. But as you see on a lot of other platforms, depending on the hour range, it's actually slightly down. We're flirting around 26,800. Now GBTC is actually up today, a decent amount, 1.4%. So what we've seen recently is this GBTC discount get swallowed up. So basically the amount of Bitcoin that they had was worth significantly more than what the market cap of GBTC was, meaning that there's a discount. So at one point, it was negative 48%. Now it's just 16%. Now, in the Patreon, if you're part of it, you would have seen a couple months ago, I bought some GBTC in addition to other holdings. And I think I was right around 35%, 33% discount then, and that's been halved now. So that's been a pretty good buy there. But as you can see, it continues to get eaten up, which is probably an indication that investors are they very much think that we are going to have this discount get swallowed up. The GBTC is going to be approved for a spot ETF. They're pretty positive on that, which is why they're buying it and pushing up the price versus how much is actually in the ETF. Maybe we'll actually see a little bit of a premium at one point. At some point in the future, there was a premium way in the past because it was easier for investors to buy this versus buying spot, so they were willing to pay extra and pay a 2% management fee. I don't think that's as likely now, but it's definitely a possibility. Now, we also got some other news on that. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but as you can see, crypto is also not doing too bad right now because the stock market indices are down pretty significantly. At least the NASDAQ is down 1.27% on the day. A lot of tech stocks falling down, but crypto is doing pretty well right now. I think a lot of the sellers are exhausted. A lot of the sellers have already left the space. And as we looked at yesterday, FTX was for selling Bitcoin in large sums to keep Bitcoin under $20,000 and to prop up their own cryptocurrencies. And we don't have as much of that, obviously, now with FTX flushed out of the market. The president of Madeira announces the launch of a Bitcoin business hub to foster local innovation. Now, if you don't know where this is, I looked it up. It's a region in Portugal. So more and more countries adopting or pushing for Bitcoin and Bitcoin innovation, benefits on taxes. This actually looks pretty similar to where I am right now in Positano, Italy, this landscape here. And we also have some news from Argentina. With just 10 days before the vote, pro-Bitcoin Argentine candidate Javier Milei is surging ahead in the polls. He has 75%, it looks like, a chance of winning the presidency. So that's obviously a very high number. Most likely he will get that president spot, and that will obviously be good for Bitcoin. He'll probably do something similar to what we saw here, fostering some innovation, good tax rules, try to get more people in, kind of like El Salvador, maybe increasing how many people actually are willing to visit the country and move there as well. So I want to continue on. There's some news on the spot Bitcoin ETF, something big that could happen today. Right before we go any further, I want to talk to you about a really cool partner of the channel, Alt Index, which actually uses AI along with a lot of free alternative data to help users analyze different companies. So they actually have had a great win rate themselves, over 75% win rate with an average of 24% gain over a 6-month period. And you can sign up for free. They have over 1,000 active users, 100 plus unique daily stock alerts. So I signed up for the free account right now, and this is some of the stuff that I can see. So basically you can go by Reddit mentions or news mentions, 4chan mentions, Instagram followers, and kind of look at a lot of social metrics to determine maybe if a company is growing very quickly, or website traffic, job posting, lobbying expenses, that kind of thing. So right now, they use hundreds of data sources, including website traffic, app downloads, as I said, to analyze this information, real-time alerts and insights. As I said, AI stock picks have over a 72% win rate over the last 6 months, and they have weekly product updates. So if you want to check this out, there's more information underneath the video. Special thanks to Alt Index for sponsoring this part of the video. As always, do your own research. So what happens if the SEC doesn't appeal the Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF ruling? The SEC must appeal Grayscale's win in a DC appeals court on October 13 today by midnight. It says here the United States SEC will soon reach its deadline to appeal the court decision that ruled in favor of Grayscale Investments, forcing the regulator to review the fund manager's application for spot Bitcoin fund. While many observers don't believe the securities regulator will attempt to appeal the court's decision, analysts say that there could still be ways for the SEC to delay the approval of Grayscale Bitcoin's ETF conversion. So I've said this in the past. They had until today, that was basically what I talked about in part of yesterday's video, to appeal this. Otherwise, there's a decent chance that we will get a spot ETF. However, they can still delay it. There are a lot of things that they can do. They give a couple of them underneath the video, or underneath these posts. They say a September note from law firm Ropes and Gray warned the GBTC application could be sent back for review to the SEC, giving the regulator another chance to reject it on a different basis. In this scenario, the new denial could itself then be subject to another appeal by GBTC to the DC circuit. They also say another delay scenario would be if the New York Stock Exchange has to make a new filing to list GBTC, then it is possible the SEC could take up to 8 months to reach a decision on the ETF. Now, this is still positive if they don't appeal today. I think that's a good sign. And this GBTC discount getting bought up, also a good sign. Bloomberg, a couple of different reporters are saying that there's a 90% chance that the ETF will be approved by January 10. That's obviously a pretty good chance there. 90% chance, 9 out of 10, that we will have it approved. Now, that's obviously going to set up the crypto market. Everything, most likely dominance would go up in that scenario. Eventually, Bitcoin will continue to get more and more steam, and it will bleed into other cryptos. Most likely the whole market will go up, but Bitcoin would lead the way, I would think. And then eventually people will take profits and then invest in other altcoins. So just keep that in mind. There is an altcoin that is moving up actually a decent amount over the last week. Islamic Coin, now they are a partner of the channel. This is not part of this partnership. I just want to cover it because they're up 67%, 66%, and they just got listed on KuCoin, BingX, and Bitmart. So I'll leave a link to the Hack wallet underneath the video. That's a wallet that they have. So if you want to download that, they are giving away some coins to members of this community. They said that they're still trying to work out how much they can give, but it's looking like at least hundreds of dollars to a couple people in the community. So if you want to download it, you can check it out underneath the video. They already have 1.1 thousand ratings, and they are rated quite high, 4.8 stars, and it is free. So definitely check that out underneath the video as well. Now, BlackRock, Q3 earnings per share beat estimates. We had a lot of bank earnings today. They beat pretty substantially, and revenue also came in a little bit below expectations. So not great there, but as you can see, JP Morgan also beat earnings expectations, also beat revenue expectations by a good amount, almost $1 billion, which is 2.5% over. Citigroup also beat earnings expectations by a significant amount, and their revenue beat as well. I mean, we're talking almost $1 billion beat. They're a 5% beat on revenue. So banks are making a good amount of money, significantly more than expected. Let's take a look at JPM stock here today, up 1.56%. Makes sense. They're doing quite well. Now, BlackRock said that they see significant interest among pension funds to cut equity exposure and to lock in yields around 5%. I get that for people that are really worried about just keeping up with inflation. Pension funds, a lot of them are underfunded. They feel like they need to lock in some of this money. And honestly, if you need yield, I think it would make sense to lock it in with how high interest rates are. Allow that to continue over the next 20, 30 years versus waiting for a quarter point raise in yields too. Not very likely to really help you that much in the long run. Better just to lock it up now. But personally, I'm not trying to do that. I think long term it makes more sense to be invested in stocks. And honestly, a lot of these pension funds will be underfunded if they lock in too much yield. Instead of trying to get that long exposure in the market, because you need that, especially if you're underfunded. Now, last thing I want to cover, JP Morgan shares best Bitcoin miners list in a crucible moment. The bank has started its coverage on listed miners with CleanSpark at the top due to its balance of scale, potential growth, power costs, and relative value. This is the only miner that I believe I've ever owned, and it's the only one that I own now, and definitely one that I've been paying attention to for a long time. So I would pay attention to CleanSpark. I would take a look at their financials if you haven't already. Of course, I'm not telling you to buy. You have to make your own decision on that. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Check out Alt Index underneath the video along with the hack wallet and sign up for Bag Tracker AI. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. I will say, like I said, we only have a couple hours before this appeal. Pay attention. There's a lot going on right now. I would not want you to miss anything. So hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification to see the future videos. Thanks.